Welcome back to another episode of Pokemon Knowledge. On today's episode, if you don't know, it's Thursday night. Every Thursday night at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I go live. I've been very lucky. I've been able to make it every single week of 2024 so far. Every Thursday I've been live. But you see the title of this video? Pokemon has made me poor. And is that a little clickbaity of a title? Yes. But this is the big but that comes in. Is there a little bit of truth to that? There's probably a little sprinkled bit of truth into that. And the reason why is recently there's just been so many buying opportunities for so many things. The two big ones that stick out are Brilliant Stars and Lost Origins from PokemonCenter.com. I've talked about those since I've been blue in the face. I mean, those are the obvious ones. But, $900 a case from Pokemon Center, and, and I make the joke. I'm like, Random Wednesday comes along, boom, spend $1,000, and you spend $1,000 every day for a year. Well, there's between 30 to 31 days in a month, so that's 30,000 a month, and there's about 365 days in a year. So that's $365,000 if you're spending $1,000 a day, and I cannot afford to do that. So on my most recent live, I said I was done buying Brilliant Stars. I'm done buying Lost Origins. I gotta let my wallet take a little bit of a break, otherwise I am just gonna end up being in the poorhouse. Well, as I said earlier, a random Wednesday comes along, and my old friend Mr. Rattle Pokemon slides into my DMs, and he's like, "Hey PK, by the way, there's a drop on Pokemon Center of all the Van Gogh merch." And at that point, nobody really knew about it. We were one of I don't know how he found out about it, but we are definitely one of the earliest possible people to find out about that. At the time, the website was fully stocked. Every single item that Pokemon restocked was still available. You could add multiple items to your cart. You could do the max limit quantities. It was night and day from the last time Pokemon Center had the Van Gogh merch drop. So here we are on a random Wednesday. I just told you I was done buying from Pokemon for a little while because I need my wallet to take a little bit of a break, because not too far away we're gonna get our Japanese 151 reprints, and I've heard different dates of whether it's gonna be super soon, in the next few days, or potentially later next month. But I wanted to buy a bunch of 151, and my goal was to buy 10 cases, and the number I had in mind was I felt comfortable at $1,000 per case. That's $10,000. I can't do $10,000 in Pokemon 151 because I'm becoming poor in this hobby. And the thing is the money that I'm spending is not liquid money. This is money that is just getting stagnant. And what I mean by stagnant is when I'm buying Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin, I'm not buying them just to flip it when those are still available on PokemonCenter.com. Oh, no, no, no. I'm buying those to hold on to those until eventually they go out of stock, and then I want to see what the prices do. And then the same thing with the Van Gogh merch. On a random Wednesday, which at the time of recording this video was yesterday, another $1,000. It's just I'm not made of $1,000 bills. Are you made of $1,000 bills? Or is anybody out there watching this video made out of $1,000 bills? Some people might think they're made out of $1,000 bills, but in reality they're not, and I am not one of those people. So it's just every day $1,000. And that's the thing about this hobby too, is when the good deals pop up, you got to just take advantage of them. But Pokemon's gonna put me in the poorhouse pretty soon. I mean, it's wild. I mean, we're only into, at the time of recording this video, for anybody out there who doesn't know, here we are in April 18th. Just in the last 18 days, I'm just going to say from April 1st to today, holy moly. I mean, we're talking a lot of money. We're in the five figures. So that's a lot. For some people, maybe they're watching this, it's not a lot. But it's a lot for me. I looked at my credit card statements last year, and for all of 2023, when I felt I wasn't really buying much, I only buy all my Pokemon stuff. This is a good just advice for everybody out there. Definitely separate your credit cards. I have just a Pokemon credit card, and last year, throughout the entire year, my expenses on Pokemon were only $35,000 because I was able to look at the end of the year statement. That doesn't include cash deals that maybe I did outside of that credit card. But the credit card or the outside cash deals definitely didn't add up to 35,000. So that's all I spent in an entire year. And here we are in April, and I'm getting close to that number. It's not good. Pokemon is going to make me poor really, really quick. And, that's the thing too. I'm not a full time business. I'm just a dude in his grandma's basement talking about Pokemon. So there are definitely people out there who have distribution, have huge allocations, and they're spending way more. I mean, just on a single set release, they could be spending how much money I consider a lot on a single release because they're picking up a couple hundred booster boxes of each set. But for me, for where I'm at right now in April, it's tough. So I said on my last video, I'm just gonna relax. I'm gonna pump the brakes a little bit. Here we are. We got a freaking random Van Gogh merch drop that happens on a random Wednesday in a random month of 2024. Here we are. So that's just the thing about Pokemon. But I made a video. I don't even remember now. I'm losing track. Everything is kind of blurring together. But I've made multiple videos. One of them I talked about like the most money was going to be made or lost in the next 6 months of Pokemon, and that was when everything really dipped down. And during that time, like right after that video, I said the most money will be made or lost in Pokemon. The next video I talked is about how I want to become liquid in order so when the good buys pop up, I would be ready. And I was, pretty successful at getting my liquidity ready for the buying opportunities. And now that the buying opportunities are here, and to be honest with you, the buying opportunities, some of them have already gone away a little bit. Shout out to number one mod in the game, Drew. I see Drew just dropped the 10 gifted memberships, helping me out a little bit. But, I was picking up stuff, and we've seen a lot of price increases across the board. And I've talked about this, a lot of this stuff, a lot of people timed. It doesn't take like a genius. And I know a lot of people like the big brain Pokemon, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't try to overthink Pokemon, because that's one of the things I love to do more than anything. It's written into the code of my DNA at this point. I like to overthink Pokemon. That's one of the things I love to do. But a lot of the plays that have happened, product, Sword and Shield product, as soon as it goes out of stock in PokemonCenter.com, it's probably going to go up. And we've been watching that happen set after set after set. We did see a little weird thing happen with Astral Radiance. Astral Radiance did go out of stock on PokemonCenter.com. I'm going to be honest with you. Was that on my radar as being the next set to go out of stock on Pokemon Center? I'm going to be 100% transparent with you. It was not. The next two sets that were on my radar, was Brilliant Stars, Lost Origins. So to see Astral Radiance go out of stock, I was a little, shocked by that. But to be honest with you, I wasn't really focusing on that because I was so focused on Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin. And then right after it went out of stock on Pokemon Center, we saw prices jump up to 180 super fast. I mean, we're talking, it went out of stock, boom, prices went up. And then for whatever reason, Astral Radiance got a restock on PokemonCenter.com. So if you wanted it, you could go on and pick it up right now. But this is the thing, and I tell you this all the time, and I'm going to keep telling you this, and I don't know why this is true, but it's always true. There are people out there that once it went out of stock on PokemonCenter.com, I promise you there are people out there who found out that it went out of stock on PokemonCenter.com, and they FOMO'd into that booster box at 180. But now that the price for that booster box has gone back to 140 because now it's available on PokemonCenter.com, those same people that were willing to spend 180 because they were willing to FOMO into it because it was their last opportunity, now that it's back and it's available on PokemonCenter.com, I promise you, those same people will not buy it. And I don't know why this is becoming, I'm not going to use the word, it's becoming a common theme. This has always been a common theme. There's not many things as common as that exact mindset by people. And I mean it. When shit is available, people will not want it. The second people cannot have it, that is when they'll want it. It's the same thing with what PokeRev did, super recently with just the Umbreon V from Evolving Skies. Not the Umbreon V Max, the Moonbreon, not that one, just the regular Umbreon V. PokeRev talks about it. Maybe a little people had a little mini buyout on TCG Player, but then prices start to go up on that card. And I promise you, there are people who never had the Umbreon V even slightly on their radar. The second that card starts to tick up, the second there starts to be a little FOMO involved around in that card, that is when there is a certain group of people in this hobby, then and only then will they feel that they need to pile into a card. And then that demand that happens, and like that's one of the reasons why this hobby and just Pokemon in particular is so easily manipulable. And I know people don't really like to hear that, but people talk about buyouts right now. This is the thing: you can't buy out all of Pokemon, especially modern Pokemon. When you're talking sealed product, when you're talking individual cards, it's impossible. There's just too much of this stuff that it can exist for one single person. But the caveat is on TCG Player, if you only have 100 listings of a card, no person out there watching this video real time or after the fact will they be able to, buy out every single card, because there's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of each one of these modern cards printed. But anybody out there could buy up 100. And then the second they buy up 100 of them, that TCG Player price chart is just going to show a new price. It's going to show the market price. And then I'm telling you, there are just people out there that once they see the market price trending on TCG Player, the second they start to see that price increase, they will believe that that is the market price. They won't even consider that one person bought up 100 copies, or one person is doing a small artificial pump and dump on the cards. They do not think that way. They do not care. They will just look at whatever the price is on TCG Player, and then they will buy it. And then more importantly, when cards are obviously manipulated, and you do have a bunch of, call it artificial demand just gets pumped into those cards, people just always love to jump onto that rocket ship. I'm telling you, this is things I've said on my channel before. As that rocket ship is blasting off, there will be a ton of people that are just jumping to hang on to it. And it will always be the way. I wish I could sit here and just tell you, and I wish I could just lie to you and tell you that that will change eventually. The market will change. The sentiment will change. And people will go after stuff that they feel is undervalued. And then that's not the case. People will always go after what everybody else is chasing. And I don't know why. I don't know if that's just a mindset that just happens in this hobby, but it becomes true. And with that, and I got a point to this. So that whole mindset of people are only going to like stuff when it's expensive. One of the more recent sets that are coming out very soon is Twilight Masquerade is coming out. And love them to death. Shout out to Mr. Mason from Cardinal Gaming. I gotta read you. I took a screenshot of it on my phone. I gotta read you a comment that Mason said. He said, Twilight Masquerade could be the worst Pokemon set of all time. No hyperbole. So, I don't know. I couldn't tell if this is a actual troll for Mason, or if Mason honestly believes that Twilight Masquerade is going to be one of the worst sets of Pokemon of all time, to compare this set to, say, a Crimson Invasion or a Steam Siege. So, I'm going to be honest with you. Because Mason wrote that comment, and because he wrote no hyperbole, it really makes me believe that that's not an exaggerated claim, that he actually means that. And Mason, if you're out there, love you, buddy. Let us know if this is the ultimate troll, or if you really believe that Twilight Masquerade is not going to be a great set. But I'm going to tell you, it looks like a good set to me. And I'm going to do something that I do very, very rarely. I'm actually going to pull up the set list. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to pull up the set list. Because I think that in a very, very near term, the same way as we saw happen with Temple Forces, I think we're going to see a lot of these cards get pumped and dumped off the rip. And I think this is one of the stronger Scarlet and Violet sets. So, so let's see. I'm going to do this. Let's see if I can actually make this work. Boom. Do that. Oh, let's see if I can actually... Oh, look at that. Make this screen a little bit smaller for you, so you can see the set list. But, I mean, to be honest with you, this looks like a solid... Just all the Illustrator rares. This looks solid. The Namarus right here is solid. But more importantly, Like, what is this card? It's like the Okie Doggy or something. This card slaps. If you like Scarlet and Violet, this is a mean looking card. I love Pokemon cards like this. Beautiful, vibrant artwork where Pokemon are just this is not a nice Pokemon. This is not a calm Pokemon. This is a mean looking card, but they still bring in awesome color schemes with the greens and the pinks. And looking at the bottom of the card, you got like that rainbow color scheme to it. These are solid cards, and I think English is really going to do good. This card, I don't know. Is this a Chansey card? I want to say it's a Chansey card because there's two Chanseys, but you got the Snorlax here, you got the Bellsprout, you got the Psyduck right here, and you got the Ditto. I want to say maybe this is like a Pokemon Center card, but I think it's a Chansey card. But this is freaking great artwork. I'm very impressed by this card. But more importantly, this guy right here. What do people in this hobby love above all others? They love themselves some Eevees. And more importantly, they like evolutions. But they like Eevee too. Because you can't have evolutions without this bad boy right here. And more importantly, not only do you have Eevee, you got all the Eevees. This card is going to be just like the Ghastly, in my opinion. The same way in Temple Forces, we saw a lot of people go crazy with the Ghastly. These cards are sick. Now, the Applin, what is this? The Flapple. I don't know about these cards. You know, there are some weaker Illustrator rares, but I mean the Growlithe, badass. The Timber, okay, but this is solid. I'm telling you, this is a great artwork. Now, are all these cards going to be able to pop? No, probably not. But are some of them? Is this going to be a $15+ card? Yeah, in my opinion, it is. Could the Eevee be the next Ghastly? Could it be a $40 card? Normally, I would tell you no. But seeing market manipulation recently, I'm going to say yeah. That Eevee is definitely a possibility. Now, I feel like this is where maybe people are saying like some of the full arts are weak. And yeah, I could say maybe. But what is this, the Blood Moon? I think that's what this is. Still looks pretty sick. Waifu boys, come on. Where are you at? The Lana? I don't know, waifu boys. I think it's got some decent waifus to it. Perrin, P. What is that? How you say her name? Perrin. Solid. I mean, yeah, older. I don't know. All right. I feel like this could be where the people can make the argument that the set's weak, but with the SIRs, come on. You still got a Greninja. And this is the thing about Greninja. Everybody always says they want Chase Greninjas. Well, here you go. You got what you asked for. Do people really care about Greninja? I would say yes, they will. This could be a big, expensive card. I feel like this could be a chase to this. And especially in the short term, I feel like there's going to be a lot of pumping and dumping that's going to go on for Twilight Masquerade. And I don't do this a lot. There you go. What is this, the Blood Moon again? Got a little Teddy Ursas in the background? I don't know. These look sick. I get it. Maybe the other ones aren't great. But yeah, you got at least, in my opinion, two really good SIRs. With the Greninja. Oh, and the Blood Moon. So. And then Special Illustrator rares. The Lana again. With the little Corphish. I don't know. I think Pokemon's onto something with this set. And the Parrot again. I don't know. Gold cards, hit or miss. But I think this is going to be a banger set. Is this going to be the best set of Scarlet and Violet? I don't know. But I'm going to tell you right now, in my opinion, this is not the worst set. So if Mason was trolling, Mason, you got me good. But if Mason's not trolling and he really does think that this is going to perform similar to like a Steam Siege or a Crimson Invasion, I don't see it happening, man. Another Greninja, I mean, I get it. The whole terrestrial shit with the stuff on their heads, like I get it. That's not everybody's cup of tea. I get it. Are there some weaker ones? Maybe, but what is the future form of T-Tar called? I don't even remember. Or ancient. That's ancient form. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be kind of sick. Like artworks that tell stories and shit. I don't know. I I mean, obviously every card can't be a banger. Every card's not going to be expensive, but I don't know. I feel like this set's going to it's going to be fun to open. We haven't really had a set like that. We haven't had a set that in my opinion has been really really fun to open. And I feel like that's been one of the downfalls of Scarlet and Violet. And I think we are finally getting to the point this is a problem too, and I want to speak for it, so I will. We definitely run into this timeline where nobody likes the new generation. There's obviously the certain people that play the games, but for a lot of us, we're always hesitant. Listen, I was the same way with Sun and Moon. Didn't like Sun and Moon when it was released. Didn't like Sword and Shield when it was released. Didn't love Scarlet and Violet. But the one thing I will tell you is later on Sun and Moon, around this timeline, I really started to enjoy the Sun and Moon characters. The same thing with Sword and Shield. Right around this timeline, so right around this timeline was like Battle Styles. Battle Styles, still one of my favorite sets. It was right around this timeline that I really started to come into an appreciation for what Sword and Shield was. And now, here we are, as I've told you on this channel, history always has this weird way to repeat itself. And here we are with Scarlet and Violet, right around the same timeline. Here I am. It really started with Temple Forces, but I'm starting to really like Scarlet and Violet. And I don't feel that I'm alone on this. I feel that there is a lot of people that are starting to really come around to Scarlet and Violet. And now this is the thing too about Scarlet and Violet. I'm not piling into Scarlet and Violet, meaning I'm not buying a bunch of Scarlet and Violet at this point because I still had Brilliant Stars booster boxes. I still have Lost Origin booster boxes that were readily available. So, do I want to put, $85 to $90 in a Scarlet and Violet set, or would I rather do $143 into a Sword and Shield set? So, I decided to make the decision that I want to do 143. Those opportunities are drying up. And the second those opportunities dry up, so I'm going to pretty much give you what I'm looking at for my timeline. My timeline goes Brilliant Stars Lost Origin timeline, and then once those are gone, Silver Tempest will be next on my list, and then as soon as Silver Tempest is gone, if we get a 151 reprint in English, 151 will be back on my radar. But after that, that is gone, especially if that 151 reprint does not come. Scarlet and Violet is next on my list. And that might seem like a long time away. I don't think it's a long time away. I think Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin, the days of PokemonCenter.com booster boxes are very quickly coming to an end. Silver Tempest, feel the same way. It's definitely, in my opinion, is going to last a little bit longer. But once that timeline is gone, Scarlet and Violet will be available. And when Scarlet and Violet, I feel like you just got to follow the money. I feel like that is eventually where the money in this hobby is going to go. It's the same way with like Sun and Moon. It was the same thing with XY. It's the same thing with now Scarlet, I think in my opinion it will be the same thing with Scarlet and Violet. It's just, this is the thing. When things are available, people will not want them. With all the Scarlet and Violet stuff right now, we are running into a weird timeline where we don't know what's going to get reprinted. Looking at Scarlet and Violet, you would be really, really hard pressed to say that no Scarlet and Violet stuff is going to get reprinted. Something's going to get reprinted. Now, that's why I mentioned it. A lot of people are pointing to the specialty set. A lot of people are talking about 151 as being the most likely for a reprint. And I could definitely get on board with that because if Pokemon does want to reprint anything, they're going to look at a lot of these sets, say, does Scarlet and Violet base need one? Nah, probably not. Now, Paldea Evolved, you can make the argument for Obsidian Flames. It's tough. Paradox Rift, tough. Temple Forces obviously just got released. It's the most recent set. You're not going to reprint that right away. So then people are going to start to look at specialty sets. People are talking about 151, and then people are even going back and talking about, potential reprints of Crown Zenith. I don't really see that as being an option. I know a lot of people threw that out. I'm just going to say that's probably not happening more. I think Crown Zenith is kind of going away. I mean, prices are still really cheap for that. You could still source it up, like, or source it for pretty cheap. But I think it's going to slowly start to dry up, and we're going to start to see prices tick up because I think Pokemon's just going to focus on Scarlet and Violet. Now, like I said, that 151, definitely in the reprint conversation. But excluded specialty sets, just talking main expansions, probably Evolved is probably the next most likely. And then what? I don't really got nothing for you. Like, I don't think we see a lot of these sets get reprinted. Maybe we do. And if that's the case, then it's going to be a dark couple years for some of these sets. But you got to print whatever is the strongest sets. So, all right. So, I'm just going to scroll up to the top of the chat real quick. Because, as you guys know, it is Thursday. So, hold on one second. Alrighty. So, we got number 1 mod in the game, Drew. So, if you guys got any questions, now's your time to ask them. And I want to hear your thoughts, too. 1, are you like me? Are you now poor because of Pokemon? So, money's gone. There's no more money. So, there is, but there's not. Oh, I gotta sneeze. Shout out to Professor Oak, and shout out to allergy season. Cheers to the pollen in the So number 1 mod in the game said, "What up, Drew?" Aaron Scott said he's poor too. Welcome to the club. Maxwell Gonzalez says, "I don't see people talking about the Pokemon Center Pikachu in a gray felt hat restock. I grabbed some sleeves. Yeah, I grabbed some sleeves. I grabbed some canvases. I grabbed some playmats. I grabbed." You name it. If it was available, I grabbed it. Welcome to the poorhouse, ladies and gentlemen. Children of all ages. Maxwell said, yep, everything went out of stock fast. So, when Rattle originally sent me that link, and I was on there, and I felt pretty comfortable. I was like, I don't know if a lot of people know that this stuff has been restocked. And as I was loading stuff into my cart, like, real nonchalantly, and I say nonchalantly meaning I was still doing it with determination and speed, but I was actually adding stuff. I wasn't just constantly checking out. And as I was adding stuff to my cart, I get a little Twitter X notification from old Pokemon TCG drops that says, apparently, Van Gogh merch has been restocked. And I'm like, oh no, because I was in the middle of stocking my cart. So, but I got a lot of stuff. It was, it felt good. I mean, compared from the last time where I couldn't freaking get anything. Now, I was lucky. I was able to get some of the Pikachu and Gray Felt Hat promos, but I was only able to get the promos from the later stocks they did, where if you spent $30 on PokemonCenter.com, they would add a promo to whatever item you picked up. So I was able to pick them up that way, but I wasn't able to pick up those promos with the original, like, Van Gogh merch drop. Now, with this drop, there's also a caveat. Probably most people out there do know this, but I will just say it just in case there are people out there that don't know. With this most recent stock, it was only the actual items. They didn't add the promo cards to your order like they did the first time. So if anybody's thinking like, oh, you bought a bunch of merch and then for every item you purchased, you were able to get a Pikachu and Gray Felt Hat card promo. No, not this time around. I wish. That would be absolutely awesome. There was even like, an announcement on there that said that the promo card would not be added to your order, because I'm sure a lot of people wanted that. But one of the only thing I did not pick up were the pin set, because I don't know what happened where I didn't even like realize that the pin sets were back up there, and there's been a lot of demand for those pin sets, but didn't even know. Like, I was just too busy doing other stuff. So, but I did get some of the canvases, so that was good. I got a bunch of sets of like the postcards. That's good. I was actually thinking about, because I was able to pick up a few sets of the postcards, actually opening up some, and I think I might just send out 12 postcards to some of my friends in the hobby. Just like, when was the last time you sent a postcard? I would say the last time I sent a postcard was maybe when me and my family did a vacation to Disney World when I was 6. And I think we sent a postcard to my grandparents. I would say that that's the last time I sent out a postcard. So I think it would actually be kind of fun to maybe write everybody, like a small group of people, just a little note and mail it to them. Just see if they get it. So Treo TCG said he managed to get 4 EV canvases, 4 EV sleeves, 5 Pika sleeves, 2 EV bags, 2 Pika bag, 2 EV playmats, and 2 Pika plush. Oh, wow. So you ended up getting a lot. He said should have got more of the canvases. Yeah. Garrett M said credit cards will be sweating hard. Oh, yes, they are. So Garrett says, question. If money in the card fund starts to dwindle in the buy-in period, how do you decide to lock up savings for Japanese 151 or keep grabbing Brilliant Stars and Lost Origin? I'm gonna let you know the way I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna start reaching out to people pretty soon on Pokemon 151 and just giving them a bunch of $100 bills at this point and trying to just do the best I can to get the lowest point. Again, I'm not going to be sourcing directly from Japan. I'm going to be talking to people that sourced from Japan and working out that deal right now. And I told you, the dollar amount I was looking at originally was 10 grand. Now I'm sitting right around 5 grand of Japanese 151 that I'm going to be picking up. So, hold on. Professor O, good to see you, buddy. Jimbo Slice, good to see you. Pokemon Collector, good to see you, buddy. Thrifty TCG said, rest in peace, the PK's wallet. Yes, rest in peace. It is a shell of what it once was after. April's been a rough month. I told you, that's the thing about April. It's been doing a lot of acquiring, not a lot of selling. And I told you, the big ones are, PokemonCenter.com is not that much. It's just 1,000. But Brilliant Stars and Lost Origins, because I'm not selling them. I'm not selling those until they go out of stock. I didn't pick them up from PokemonCenter.com just to go and flip them on TCG Player, even though there is still that arbitrage play there, which I don't know why that exists, but it does exist. And yeah, there's people out there like, well, international buyers buy from TCG Player and stuff. I'm just going to say, I don't think so. Basic Trainer said, dang, I got clickbaited. Basic, come on. You didn't get clickbaited. There's a shred of truth to this. Don't think that this is a lie. So we got Pokey Snipes in there. Good to see you, Pokey Snipes. Let's see. Fat Belly Collect says he saw Thrifty on a vendor blog. Was pumped. Yeah. So last time I saw Thrifty on some, if you guys aren't familiar with Skater Nesto, he's been on this channel before. He's got the Spicy Boys TV YouTube channel. Do me a favor. Just, first of all, type into your search bar, just type in Poke Knowledge, Skater Nesto. You'll be able to pull him up. I think I have it titled King of the Spicy Boys. Click on that video. If you can't find his YouTube channel for whatever reason, in the description of that video is a link to his YouTube channel. But great channel, great dude. Always brings up, he's just got, I don't know how you could put it with Skater Nesto. He just has, he just has a way with words that nobody else has. And I can't do a lot. There's people out there could do good Skater Nesto impressions. I can't. He'll just be like, PK, don't be a dummy. This is what you do. You buy the cards with the fan favorite Pokemon and you make money. It's that easy. Don't be a dummy, PK. I can't do a good Skater Nesto, but he just has this innate way to just talk that is unmatched against anybody else in this hobby. Let's see. So Aaron said he bought a $62 box this morning. I'm wondering if Aaron is talking about Pokemon 151, because if you are talking about that, that is a great price point, especially when, MSRP in Japan is like $38. This is one thing I don't know. For modern Pokemon, you kind of have an understanding of what price is from distribution. Most people are probably, I'd say for the large majority, you're looking between $88 a booster box to like 96, depending on the age of the count, But now, there are definitely some people out there, in my opinion, who get less than $88 for a booster box, but those are the really, really big accounts. Now, the question for Japanese, how much are Japanese sellers paying from distribution, I don't know. But if MSRP is $38, I don't really know. I would guess maybe. See, I don't know. I just don't know what the margins are like in Japan, but I would say like maybe around 30, maybe a little less. Like, could it be as low as 25? If you're picking up for 25, MSRP is 18. That's like 50%. I think that's too much. Probably 28, maybe 29. But see, this is like, I don't know. I can at least, for most people in this hobby, when it comes to distribution, I could kind of take a guess at what they're paying from distribution because I could see how big of a business they are. How many boxes are they buying from, you know, Southern Hobby or whoever they're buying their product from, and I could kind of like guess just by how much product they're buying what they're probably paying. Japanese can't do that. No clue. That is one of the things that I need to get an answer from. Like, what do Japanese uh, sellers pay from distribution? And I can get an answer to that question, but I probably won't be a question I'll be able to get right away. Pokey Snipe says, "I've been going crazy getting ready to go to school. It's gonna keep me away." That's all right, Pokey Snipes. The one beautiful thing about Pokemon is, if you want to come back, Pokemon's always here. It's You can take as long or as short of a break as you want from Pokemon, and no matter what, it's always there. It's like that scene from Godfather Part 3. And it's the same way I feel about that drop of Van Gogh merch on PokemonCenter.com. No matter how hard you try to get in, they just pull you right back in. And that is just Pokemon for you. They just pull you right back in. And just when the good buys pop up, it gets you. Pulls you right back in. So don't worry, Pokesnipes. We'll be here whenever you get back. Pokemon is not going anywhere, as my old friend Drew gifted. I got to the point where he gifted the 10 memberships. Let's see. Aaron said, just check. 12 boxes of 151 at 8.93. If anybody's looking, that is a good price. Let me get that old divided by 12. $74 a box. What account? Yeah, Aaron, slide into my DMs. Let me know where you're looking at those. So Nicholas Catalona said, PK, serious question. Modern pizza or Sally's Pizza? This is a fantastic question. So I'm modern pizza, and I'm going to tell you why. Because if anybody doesn't know what he's talking about, New Haven Pizza, talked about this in my last live, but modern pizza is my favorite because that's what I grew up as a kid. So I feel like whatever your parents bought, like whatever was like their number one pizza. So there's really like three pizza places right on a place called Worcester Street in New Haven that are always in the argument for the best pizza. You got Sally's, Modern, and Pepe's. Pepe's, a lot of people say, is number one. To me, Pepe's is number three. Sally's is number two, but Sally's has a solid pie. But for me, Modern Pizza is always number one. So Nicholas, those are my top three. Fat Belly Collect says, is Fusion Strike a sell to buy Brilliant? Ooh, that is a good question. It depends. When you ask a question like that, is how much Fusion do you have? Are you sitting on 4 cases? Then I would say, yeah, maybe makes sense to sell 2 of them. But if you're telling me you're only sitting on like 2 booster boxes and not 2 cases, then I would say just sit on Fusion Strike and buy something else, But no, I guess it really depends. I mean, in my opinion, what do I think is going to do better? Fusion Strike, and then I'm looking at it from today's price point. So we'll extrapolate, we'll say 2 years out. So time recording this video, we are in April 2024. So in April 2026, Fusion Strike right now, could we see it double from where it is? I don't think it's a strong likelihood that we see Fusion Strike being like a $500 plus booster box. I don't really see that happening. Now, in 2 years from now, can I see Brilliant Stars going from 150, because that's what you could buy it on PokemonCenter.com, being a $300 booster box? Easily. And in fact, I could see Brilliant Stars maybe even being a little bit more than $300 in April 2026. So if I had to make that decision just based off of that, then yeah, I would definitely say Fusion Strike is a sell at this point. But again, it all depends on how much are you sitting on. But, this is where I could be wrong. Fusion Strike could just continue to outperform Brilliant Stars, which it literally is right now. Fusion Strike is outperforming Lost Origins right now. Is there a world in which Fusion Strike is more money than both of those sets? Sure. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I'm not betting on that happening. But can I see a way in which that could happen? Yeah, I could definitely. So, just kind of changing up my background a little bit. I guess this is my background now. Let's see. I could shut this off. Go back to this. Alrighty. Let's go back to the chat. Let's see. So Nicholas says when he had it a year ago, Sally's in his opinion was good. Wife wasn't a fan. We also had one in Stanford, not the same as New Haven. Yeah, not the same. Jimbo, he has the same, well, a little bit different order of me. He says modern Peppy Sally's. Yeah. Al Will said, "What are the chances I'm eating pizza and I randomly tune into PK Live and y'all talking about it?" And he's reading the chat. Yes, there's never a bad time to eat pizza. Always a good time to eat pizza. We eat a lot of pizza. At my house we call it Pizza Friday, and every Friday we order pizza. And it's a funny thing too about Pizza Fridays. As a kid, I used to remember Pizza Fridays being like a treat. Like, wow, my mom and dad, oh, they're treating us. We're getting pizza on Friday. It wasn't until I got much, much older and I started to realize it wasn't, oh no, your parents aren't really rewarding you with Pizza Friday. It's literally your parents are so beat up after an entire work week of work and coming home and dealing with the kids and doing all that stuff. It's Pizza Friday wasn't so much a reward as it was just, the parents didn't cook dinner that night. So it's just funny, though, that as I got older, I started to appreciate that more and what it maybe always truly was. So it's kind of funny. Cheval says, watching thanks to the free Wi-Fi in the homeless shelter. Let's just say the hobby didn't hold its promise for him. And then he just put the 8.5 CGC beam. Yes. Guys, throw me a bunch of 8.5 CGC memes in the chat right now. Number one mod said, Chavalis, you can't be living that way. He'll send you a hotspot. Let's see. Mick Nick said, Greninja, special illustration looking pretty sweet. Yeah, definitely, man. I'm looking at it right now on my screen. It's pretty sweet. IDK said, Hyperbolt, LOL. Did I say Hyperbolt? Did I say that? I don't even know what I was saying. So Nicholas says, people aren't looking for good artwork, weirdly. It's whatever the Zard pumper dumper decides, yeah. So Pokebondo says he prays for an Arcanine SAR to go along with that Growlithe. I don't know if we're going to get it in the set, but yeah, I would love like a really nice Arcanine card. There's so many people Arcanine is their favorite Pokemon, which, just talking about favorite Pokemon in this hobby, it seems like everyone has a different Pokemon as their fan favorite. So obviously I understand that there's only one correct answer to that statement, which is Raichu, and I understand that. But I know a lot of people out there still, for whatever reason, have their own fan favorite Pokemon. It could be whatever. I mean, shout out to Rattle. Rattle's favorite Pokemon's Mawile. Like, how many people do you know that are Mawile fans? Well, I guess I know one, so. Pokesnipe says Eevee's always a hit. Yeah. So Pokebondo said, imagine if they turn that Eevee card into an Evolution SIR. Yeah. Ooh, Evolving Skies 2.0. So Damn said the Greninja is Twilight Masquerade. If the pull rate is bad, it will rock the Pokemon world. Maybe. You know, and that's the thing too with all these SIRs and to pull any SIR, like it's tough to begin with, but to actually pull the SIR that you want might as well be damn near impossible. Like that just becomes this hobby. The only problem is just because so much of this product is being open that you'll see a lot of these cards on the market. But I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is truthful. I haven't made really any plays at single cards for modern sets. Looking at Twilight Masquerade, while I love Mason, I don't agree with Mason's take on this set. I think that this might be one of the actual modern sets that I think there will be plays. And this is the thing too, is one of the things I always tell you, first to market plays. First to market plays always sell for a premium and then prices start to go down. Well, that is normally true. I'd say for like 95% of every card in this hobby, that has been true. Seeing what happened with Temporal Forces, it was sort of the opposite. We saw a lot of the cheapest prices right at release. And then, even a lot of the pre-orders for some of the Temporal Forces cards ended up getting blown out the water after a lot of this potential like manipulation and buyouts happened. Now, this is the thing. You got to be careful when you're going to play the buyout game. Because for some of these cards, you don't want to be caught holding the bag. And there could definitely be some people that could be caught holding the bag. So, let's see. Maxwell Gonzalez says, let's see the next Dragon set. Ooh, also true. We could definitely possibly see some really good Dragon sets get released. And that's the thing, too, is I just don't know like what cards are going to be in that Dragon set. But is it just going to be Dragonite? Is it going to be Rayquaza? Is it going to be Charizard? Are they just going to pump all the fan favorites right at everybody? And that's going to be what carries those sets? And if that's the case, I mean, that's a pretty simple like formula for Pokemon to Go, is just to put the most, the biggest fan favorite dragon Pokemon into a set. And if they do that, then yeah, that set will run. I mean, we might finally be running into like the good times of Scarlet and Violet. And I know. There's a lot of people out there, they do love some of the earlier Scarlet and Violet set stuff. For me, hit or miss. It was kind of a miss, but I get it. A lot of people loved it, but I think we are probably moving into like the glory sets of Scarlet and Violet. Or maybe that's just my sentiment. I don't know. I don't know why all of a sudden I went from overly bearish on Scarlet and Violet, so now all of a sudden I'm overly bullish on Scarlet and Violet. I don't know if that's just, anecdotal single market sentiment from me, or is it just an overall market sentiment from everybody. And that's the thing about Pokemon is Pokemon, I told you, it's a freight train. It just keeps chugging down the tracks. It's not stopping for everybody. Let's see. So Sonic is saying Greninja is also broken for the game. Okay, so if Greninja has some good playability, yeah, it could be huge. Pokebondo said, yeah, Greninja's is chase at the moment. Plus the meta TCG capabilities will make it more desirable. Hope I can pull it, yeah. Thrifty TCG said, what flavor Kool-Aid you got, PK? I need some. I think the Kool-Aid we are drinking is the flavor of maybe Colts. It's never good to drink the Kool-Aid in a cult because we know how that winds up for people. I feel like that is sometimes the danger when we talk about Pokemon, is that we are drinking the wrong type of Kool-Aid, Thrifty. So Damn said the Greninja Gold, I said Greninja Gold Star. The Greninja SAR in the set is the level of Giratina and Sword and Shield, but in the Scarlet style art. Yeah, maybe. Let's see. Chavaz, ooh, good question. He says, question for the chatters. Best percentage return in 2 years' time. Shiny Treasures at $35 a box or Brilliant Stars at $140 a box? Ooh, that is a good question. I'm going to go with Brilliant Stars. I know. A lot of people are going to hear that. But, I mean, Shiny Treasures at 30. I mean, Shiny Treasures is still a solid set. The double has just got to get up to $70. I mean, how many Japanese specialty sets have doubled or selling for 70 plus? All of them. I'm telling you right now, Shiny Treasures, if you were picking up Shiny Treasures right now, if you were going to make any play, and even if you don't own any, I would suggest just picking up one sealed case of Shining Treasures, uh, just to put it away. Put it away, get a sealed case, make sure you buy it from a reputable seller, and I would say just put away a case and just see how it does. And to be honest with you, right now you could pick up a case of Shining Treasures booster boxes, so you get 20 boxes per case because it's a specialty set. You're still going to get it for cheaper than you are for one 6 box of Brilliant Stars from PokemonCenter.com. So it's worth it. Maxwell said Crown Zenith is fun. Yes, Crown Zenith is super fun. Crown Zenith is one of the best modern sets, in my opinion. Just Skater Nesto said his financial advisor is a basic trainer. Is it time to panic? Oh, if basics is your financial advisor, that's like you know, it's like Bernie Madoff. There was a long time where Bernie Madoff, on paper, made a lot of people a lot of money. And basic trainer is the same way. On paper, basic trainer will make you money for a really, really long time. As long as you never pull your money out, basic trainer will always make you money. See, now, the secret is you got to get into basic trainer. Then we got to start turning in that pony chew that basic trainer has. Let's start fractional share in that baby. And then rocket ship emojis to the moon. Let's see. So collectors have it said it only took like $500 of Paldean Fates for me to pull the Mew, Iono, and Charizard SIRs. Is my money hates me and I hate it back. Yeah. I would say in this hobby there's a love-hate relationship with money, but maybe in collector habits it's just a hate-hate situation. But if you do hate money, and this is also a good hobby to be in. Let's see. Fresh Tat says we need a dragon set, only Zards. Yep. So Jimbo said back half of Sun and Moon had most of the bangers, and a lot of the better Sword and Shield sets for second half too. So yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, when you look at look at the last 4 sets of Sun and Moon. Team Up, Unbroken Bonds, Unified Minds, Cosmic Eclipse. Team Up, banger set. Unbroken Bonds, solid set. Unified Minds, solid set. Cosmic Eclipse, banger set. And then even like, the middle of the road sets, your Lost Thunders, your Celestial Storms, still solid sets. I feel like a lot of those sets just get slept on a little bit, especially Lost Thunder. I think Lost Thunder is going to go down in history as being one of the most underrated sets ever. Especially when you talk about for Lugia, you got that beautiful Mimikyu card in it. Like, Lost Thunder is a solid set, and it's one that just really never gets brought up. Celestial Storm is still solid-ish. It's not amazing, but it's still solid. And the problem is I'm a big Lost Thunder fan. I'm very, very spoiled by that, but Collector Habit says I have so much money I'm sitting on a case of Battle Styles. Why people like Rev and CTR crap on it? Yeah. Thrifty TCG said they're reverse pumping. You're fine. Yes. Well, I'm a little disappointed. I made it to the bottom of the chat. Something that I very, very rarely do. Listen, I rant for 40 minutes before I start to read the chat, but I somehow made it to the bottom of the chat. I guess the chat wasn't. We got 120 people in here right now, and the chat was a little slow. But listen, made it to the bottom of the chat. It is my weekly PK Thursday night live, so I guess it's just time. I mean, listen, guys, appreciate every single one of you. Do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're new to this channel, you made it to the end of a 54-minute live with some maniac talking about how he's going broke on Pokemon cards and talking about why he thinks Twilight Masquerade is going to be a great set, and you're not subscribed to this channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. If you like lives and you would like to join in on the lives and be part of this conversation, hit that bell notification so you will be notified when I go live. But I could guarantee you, without a shred of a doubt, that I will be live every Thursday night at 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you guys made it this long, I'll let you in on a little secret. if you tune in to Mr. Nick Old School Pokemon's eBay Live on Saturday night at 9 p.m. There will be two very, very familiar faces in the background. One being the gorgeous man himself, Mr. Dan Catchmall Collectibles. And then the second person will be yours truly. Mr. PK will be there. We'll both be at Nick's house hanging out for his eBay Live. Maybe some DGen stuff happens. Maybe some DGen stuff doesn't happen. I'm always leaning towards maybe it will happen. But listen, if you guys want to hang out, interact with the chat, always be fun. So yeah, that's Saturday night on Nick Old School Pokemon's eBay Live channel. Is it called the channel? I don't know. Either way, go to eBay Live, go to Nick's channel. Me and Dan will be there. Nick, it will be fun. As always, guys, appreciate every single one of you, and I'll catch you on the next video.